All right. Am I live? Refresh. All right, guys. Just setting up this live video here. Here we go. I am live. All right. So, privacy, public. There, that's what I needed to do. Okay. Hi, everybody. I am live, and welcome to Drone On and On. We're going to be talking to Matt GankMan of Gank Multirotors. And there we go. And Dalton Ray Schulze, I believe you say it. I'm probably butchering your last name. But yeah, so comments will be off the original YouTube or the original Facebook link. The YouTube page is Drone On and On. And we're good. So a little intro about why I wanted to start this new channel. I wanted to give a voice space for the independent makers, mainly the innovators, the people designing, the people actually putting the work in behind the scenes to bring us the products and just the awesome FPV lifestyle that we have. Everybody else talks to the big time racers and the big time companies, and that's great. I want to talk to the people behind all of that and behind all of that innovation. And today we are very, very lucky to have Matt GankMan of Gank Multirotors with us. And he is right here. He's building a mutiny frame. And we have Dalton Schulze. Did I say that right, Dalton?
It's very German. It's Schulze, but
Schulze. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm sorry if I butchered that.
I always think of it as like peanuts. It's the only way that people really know how to say it. I'm just like, sure. My grandfather wrote peanuts. Let's go with that.
Nice. Yeah. So Dalton, for those who don't know, he designed the little Deuce, as well as a bunch of different motors, I believe. And what else have you designed recently?
Recently, not too terribly much. There's a couple of things that I think one product comes out soon. Unfortunately, up until recently, I had a networking job and I was really like touch and go. But thankfully, with TBS and a couple of other people, they were allowing me to just kind of be like, yay, nay, yeah, and just kind of like go back and forth and really still get things done without really being able to be there myself. Nice. But the Deuce kind of became the TBS fly spec, and so that was where I kind of like touched off on a couple of things with the final evolution of that. But more recently, I'm going to be dumping like the original Deuce files and then all the CAD files that were like pretty much like probably like over 30 different random canopies that were designed and just random stuff. But yeah, like pretty much like designed and just random stuff. But yeah,
nice. That's awesome. So let's see. I think I just closed. There we go. So Matt, you just dove into the world of micros. I'm going to start this off with a little bit about me. And a lot of people don't really know who I am. I'm Renegade FPV. S.A.R.Dronic is my company that I do out of my garage. So I'm an independent, just like you guys, just like everybody else. I started my journey in FPV in the cinema world. So I was building the big drones, the big monster camera carrying rigs, but never really delved into FPV up until I'd say about 3 years ago. And when I found the building and the escape that FPV gave me from my day-to-day stresses and life, I was hooked. It saved my life. Like legit saved my life. I build a lot more than I fly. I'm trying to get a few packs in here and there every day just to try and get better. But I love building. It's the escape that I need as a single dad and all that. So it's I really hey, good. Awesome. Comments are showing up on the restream. Sweet. So I'm new to restream, so forgive me, all y'all.
Looking for the comments.
I've got them on my side. I might not be able to. Brock says hi, everybody. Spat says hi, everybody. Hi, Brock Hammond. Travis Hansen, Terry Badgen, Trenton Atkinson. Everybody's here. Awesome. All right. So, Matt, let's start with you. What got you into FPV and into doing what you do and designing and stuff?
Into FPV, it was just mostly boredom. I'd just gotten a divorce, had a crazy situation, going through that, and just wanted something to do, right? I was sitting around the house not doing anything, so one of my friends, Terry Hootie, he started getting into the camera drone stuff. And, after a while of doing the camera drone stuff, right, or going to some of the meetups and stuff, and I thought it was really cool. It's just I couldn't see spending, $1,500 to $2,000 on a camera. I'm just going to fly around real slow and take pictures and stuff. So, and I thought I would get bored with it real quick for the amount of money that I was going to have to invest. And one of the meetups we went to, I met a guy, Herman Soriano. He was flying a little FPV drone. He was flying like super, super fast. And I was like, whoa, what's going on over here? So I kind of checked that out. And man, as soon as I looked through the goggles and watched him fly, I was like freaking hooked. I had to go get one, and ended up buying like a cheap little Wakera Rodeo 150. And I still have it here. Actually, I got the little motors on it are 1310. So it's kind of a weird size. So I was actually thinking about throwing that on a quad just for giggles. But I threw that thing around for a little while, line of sight. I did horrible on line of sight. I bought a cheap pair of box goggles, and they didn't the focal length was wrong for my head. And I just kind of bugged the heck out of me. I think I ended up giving them to Dalton or selling them to Dalton back when he was starting to get back into it too. And I don't know, I just kind of grew from there. It's kind of a money pit, but man, I had a lot of fun. Ended up buying a QAV 210, I think it was QAV-R, Sharpoo imitation.
Nice.
And hey Zach, did you get my car? Can we go out in the car and get my silver bag that's got my drones and my batteries in it? I bought a QAV-R 210 for like $70 off a guy here that was local, and it was mostly together. He had liquid taped everything, and I had to end up having to peel off a bunch of liquid tape and figuring out how to reassemble it and trim some of the wires because he didn't trim anything and all that. So my first build was kind of a rough one, but it worked. Then I broke that frame, and one of my friends suggested I get a Martian. Got the Martian. Flew that for a little while till I ended up breaking that. But it just kind of grew from there. I was all over the place with it. The Martian was the first frame that I edited. And I think I thought I had that somewhere. My son probably hung it up. But so I redesigned the Martian to be a low boy, 20 millimeter, but left the front end so I could still fit a full size cam.
I remember that.
Yeah, I really wish I had that. I had it right here just yesterday because I just put EV flight on it. I thought I put it in my bag, but I'm not.
Well, just yesterday is not today.
Yeah,
I'm sad.
I lose shit all the time. I've got so much crap. I think I've probably lost one or two quads in the trash, and then miscellaneous ones probably falling off my pack here and there.
Yeah, I don't know where a few of mine are.
I've never lost one in the field or in a tree though. It's always been like in my garage, in my car, you know.
I lost one in a tree, but it wasn't my fault. A peregrine falcon stole it.
Yeah. That happens with the tiny quads. The big birds come down and check you out.
Yeah, Mobula 7. That was an interesting one.
Yeah, the first small quad I ever bought, and I was really afraid to break them because they were so tiny. First small quad I ever bought was a Cerberus 3-inch.
Nice.
Man, I tell you what, I beat the crap. I had 2 of these. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting rid of one here pretty soon. But man, these things took like every ounce of abuse that I could put at it. You know what I mean? And it's a heavy little thing for a 3-inch, though. I mean, it's a tank.
Yeah, I've got the 2.5-inch version, and it's fantastic. I just finished building it up, and I love it. And that's actually the Cerberus is the one I tried JESC and the BF 4.2 on it as well. I love it. It's great.
So, but yeah, the Cerberus Mini, I mean, I flew that thing and I just felt like I had so much more control. Yeah, it's Punisher Chief. I love it. Yeah, it's, I'm right now I'm having a hard, I might have to step away for a second because I can't find my,
That's fine. We can take a break. We can take a break from you if you need.
But, yeah, I just got into designing some stuff. Why don't you go ahead and talk to Dalton? Let me see if I can find my stuff. Go ahead.
Oh, no, just like hot potato me right there.
Yeah, there you go.
And now on to our other guy.
And now Dalton.
No, I got into flying for something similar really with you. I was a single dad at the point, and I was playing a lot of video games, and I needed something to fill up my time. And I think when I first started, it was like when like FPV, I guess, kind of first started being popular, like as far as like on YouTube. Yeah. I think I started flying around the time like the those famous like pod racing videos showed up from like the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen those or remember those, but it was like kind of like I think it was like 2004 or not 2004. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
2014.
they were all the little Naze the Naze 32 board systems.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It was a long time ago. Yeah, it was still Naze. It was back in the day too, where like you could go to your local hobby store and find like some atrocious FPV craft.
Yeah.
That like looked like half of like a UAV and half of like an FPV drone. It's like they were like, this thing looks like it could like do some agriculture, and they're like, give it a 45-degree tilt and let's call it FPV and like just get out of here. Like that's it. So like half the things on the market look like. They just look like really boxy and atrocious. But
yeah, everything's starting to look the same, and that's what drew me to Matt's frames in the first place. Is that like they didn't look the same as everything else?
Well, and I think there was honestly like a couple of years ago, there was a huge, like 3 years ago and 2 years ago, there was a huge variance in micro frames and shapes.
Yeah.
I'll always attribute the people that inspired me to design, at least, were Airblade UAV, Tomo quads. There was Falcon X for the Baby Shark. Rotor X guys always inspired me to do a lot of things. The Pepperfish guy who started out doing like all of the small, ultra, like tiny things. Not a lot of people know, but I like went down rabbit holes when I got into micros because at the time, like when I first started getting into micros, Rotor X was like kind of the only person making micros.
Yeah.
And they were taking like full 32 by 32 boards and shoving them into like tiny 2.5 inch frames and stuff like that. But you were like, the only problem back then is like the entry level to getting into it was like you had to learn how to solder like today. Like you had to figure that out because if you were making mistakes, you were making like $50 mistakes. You weren't like, oh, I can just like tin this up and figure it out. It was like, oh, I've ruined this Naze board. I now have to wait 2 weeks and buy another one from Banggood. I hate myself. Like,
Yeah.
and
Oh, Banggood. That's like a swear word now.
yeah, but back in the day, that's where you bought stuff.
That's
like,
the only place you bought
no,
stuff. I remember buying a KK 2.1.5 board from them.
AliExpress or Banggood is where I bought like most of my. And what's crazy too is I liked a lot of niche micro things.
Yeah.
So like I always had to find these really weird like, and what's really interesting to me too is like when I was making the Deuce and other things, I kind of like, not me personally, but like a bunch of people in the community, we kind of like bullied people into making more parts available. It's like people had parts for, oh, what's up, Trevor?
Trevor's here. Josh is here. Everybody's here.
But we kind of like a bunch of people in the micro community inadvertently bullied Chinese companies into starting to like just, they were like, oh, they want these small ESCs. And so they started like selling us their like extra parts almost for other things. Like people started having these like weird tiny micros that they would sell, you know, that had Wi-Fi, you know, like video and stuff for cell phones. And then here we were like, no, we want those. So they would be like, okay. And then like, it's just like you get an ESC that's 16 by 16, but it comes with like wires to wire the ESCs individually. And you're like, okay, like, I guess I'll try this. Like, so like it was dark and scary back in the day. Like it was honestly a lot of my micro history, because I pretty much like dumped 5-inch as soon as like a child, and a drone was really hard to manage. But for me, like it was just, I remember the hardest struggle was like it's just having to learn how to solder like instantly. I remember just being super frustrated because everyone else was like, oh, don't worry, like you can like on a 5-inch you can make this like unsoldered piece of garbage fly no matter what, and it looks fine and it's great and we all have a blast. And I'm like over here like,
yeah, I'm the king of like janky thrown together builds when I was a bad solderer. And the amount of times, the amount of gear I've blown through just because of that, through the roof. Like I don't know how much I've spent doing that, but the amount of times that I've been so stupefyingly confused as to how something that I just built flew, when I was looking at it going, that shouldn't fly. Like there's no way that should fly. And then it just flies and you're like, I did it. How did I do that? Like and you get better, and it's gotten awesome now. Like now that I know what I'm doing, I'm generally pretty comfortable. But yeah.
That's kind of how I felt like when like Rotor-X came out with like the T motor design.
Yeah.
Rotor-X, like when they were still doing that, the original Atom still had 32 by 32. I think it was an 1102 or an 1104 brushless motor that they were having that was 2 to 3S. I think it was, it was 2 to
1
3S.
to 2S. 1 to 2S, I think.
I believe their first release was the 3 to 4, or maybe. Okay. I can look it up, but I swore they were a little bit higher than that.
I got some old 1102, 11,500 kV E-Sheens here on this little Deuce that I threw together right before talking to you.
You sly dog.
Yeah, so for everybody that doesn't know, this is one of the very few that Dalton actually had cut with the little poo icon on it.
There was only 100 made, so only 100 people get 100 turds.
I deserve one of those turds, and I'm honored to own one.
You too can join the shitty crew.
Mr. Dan.
Yo.
I just got a message from Joaquin Ibanez. He's asking what microphone you're using.
I am using, I believe it's an Audio-Technica. I forget what model number it is, but I believe it's an Audio-Technica.
Okay.
I want to say like the A201 or something like that, but I could be completely wrong on the model.
Okay. Yeah, Joaquin just sent me a message asking, because he was thinking about getting one. He said it looks like the newer 700, but he says it's hot.
Yeah, I like it. It only cost, I think it was only around like $110. Like it wasn't too price gouging. So, and it works great. It comes with a ballast and everything.
Cool.
So, nice. I'm glad everybody's running through here. Dan needs a turd. Yes, I do, Aaron. Thank you.
One turd, please.
Yeah. Oh, James Buck Senior's here, and he wrote. Yeah, he's chilling. We got Brent. We got TJ. TJ. He made it home. Awesome.
For you, Dan.
Oh, pretty.
So these are the test models. So they're let's see. I believe they're both the square bottom.
Yeah, that one in your right hand looks very similar to the one I've got there.
Well, right, but I don't have the Deuce bottoms on mine because these were protos.
Because you just weren't special enough for a big piling heap of turd?
Well, honestly, the original name was The Little Shit, and Facebook.
Facebook told me that I couldn't have a company name with profanity, so I tried spelling it Little Deuce, and I tried spelling Little Deuce correctly, and then they gave me the finger again. So then I misspelled Deuce with the most commonly used misspelling of Deuce, and they are like, all right, you can have it. So, you know, whatever you take from that is...
Trevor says Dan has my turd. So proud to own your turd.
I haven't finished the build, but I do have the my Helio.
The F7 setup. Oh, that's the Helio, yeah.
Yeah, this is the Helio AIO that I found, so I'm going to go EMU flight with it on that frame that I built in the live build earlier today. So I've got it all. I've got them all pre-tinned and everything, and
awesome.
I'll complete that build later. I was going to try to focus on this instead of with my head down on the build. But yeah, nice. This was like the OG Little Deuce. Man, this thing was so fun. I had a little bit of weird problems with it with the 3-blade props, just because of their 1103s. Dalton turned me on to these little freaking bow tie props, and man, it flew like a ton better. I haven't even swapped any new props on it to see what it does with the freaking new HQ biblades or anything. And then I had this one. So what I was going to tell you earlier, Dan, when you were showing me that the one that you had.
Yeah.
So if you move the front screws to the back, you get this really wicked race angle.
Nice.
So
I've got it on the front dangling under.
Yeah, you've got the screws held down to the front.
Yeah.
To the front standoffs. If you move them to the back standoffs, you get this really wicked race angle on the Little Deuce.
Nice.
It's just insane.
Wish I still had. I blew up like my first Deuce the other day because it's being a turd myself. But I was trying to play around with some things. But those things are still funny. I still really enjoy the floater motors, for the name and for the performance.
Are those the ones that you had a hand in? Yeah,
they have a turd on them too. Like nice. If you want, I can go find one, and there's a turd on the motor. It's good.
You know, the little covert little floater.
Yeah, little floater. Yeah, little floater motors. They're like a little floating turd.
Floating turd, yeah.
Hey, Aaron Stewart, we're about to actually talk about the Talon F7 Nano. That Matt just grabbed one and wanted to discuss it a little bit because apparently Erin's got a Talon F7 Nano that she needs a frame for, Matt. So okay. Maybe.
So I've got. Are you looking for like a freestyle frame or a race frame, Erin?
She's probably more along. Are you more freestyle, Erin? Or are you racer? You're a racer. You're a hardcore racer, aren't you?
Okay. So I've got
girl. Huh? No.
My tiny racer.
Yeah.
So it'll do 16 by 16 and just barely 20 by 20. I think some stacks might be a little tight. I haven't tested all of them, obviously. This one's got a 16 by 16 iFlight stack with 12 amp ESCs, and I think this one for racing would the Talon would go well in. You would just have to mount it because the Talon sticks out. past the 16 by 16 here,
Yeah.
you would have to mount it to where that part sticks out on the sides on the racer.
She's apparently freestyle, but so show the what.
So this one here is I think it was 139 grams with a GNB 650 mAh 33S. Sorry, and I just got a little Cadix EOS 2 in it. But this thing flies really good. I just posted a video yesterday or day before of the race practice that I had at Old Settlers Park here locally.
There's also only one other video posted to this page right now, and it's the My Gank 4S test video with my Gank.
Yeah, he's got the other racer.
Oh, gosh, golly.
Yeah. So the other one that I really, really excited about is the Nemesis Micro. So this is a Squished X frame, all right, top mount battery. This thing is so fun. It was 149 with props and a 650 mAh battery, 149 grams, so under 150. I've got 1206 6500 kV Zing motors on it. I'm kind of liking the one-piece bell, and they seem to have hold up pretty well so far. And again, the iFlight stack. I'm going to build the next one of these I build. I'm going to put that Talon in, and this is kind of what I'm hoping. I had bought the JESC one set of licenses, and I was going to throw it on this thing. But now that I've got that Talon, I'm just going to wait till I get the new ones in. I modified them just a hair. And fix the problem I had with the FC mounts on the bottom. But that one there it's so fun. I've been dying for like a Squished X top mount battery freestyle micro for a while. This one here is a 3-inch. I also have it in the 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Still same. Still going to hold whoop boards, or it'll hold 16 by 16s. I've decided I just added 20 by 20 slots on for the Nemesis Micro, so the final version will have 20 by 20, just in case you guys want to go stupid nuts with it. It's nothing for me to add a couple of holes for you. So, but yeah, I'm really digging it. It flies really good. I've been trying to put together an edit. I had an issue the other night. My computer died on me halfway through the edit, and I wasn't saving quite enough, so I have to start all over again. But that should be coming out here in the next day or two. I'm also going to do a racer build live session. I did the Mutiny live session earlier today, so that should be on my Facebook page and on my YouTube.
Yeah, that was a good video, man. I watched that. That was a great video.
It was okay. I had some stumbling moments and had trouble.
We all do.
Yeah, trying to keep everything in the frame of view, but that was my first live stream, so it wasn't horrible, I guess. I was appreciative. Everybody showed up. That was awesome. But yeah, I started, like I said, I've got those two micros. Those will be the only two micros that I have for now. I might be doing something again, something different a little bit later, but I want to make sure I've got all the ones that I have out ready. Got the Mutiny. This is the one with the Bando arm. All right. This one is going to be, I'm pricing them at $45 for the frame kit.
Beauty.
And I think for an extra $15,
that's awesome.
you get for an extra $15, you get either a Hero 3 through 7 mount, or you get the Session mount. And yeah, that's and you get arm guards, and you get an SMA mount for it, and you'll get if you've got a Crossfire and you want to aim the Crossfire off the back, I've got those too. And then the Racer. So last year's Racer was quite big. I'll show you the difference here. But I built it for me to practice with, right? So this is the Racer, and I'm still going to sell this because it's very durable and it has a ton of space to build. It's slightly stretched, But it's durable as hell. I had 3 of these built all last year. All 3 of them survived. I broke 2 arms, I think, total, and that was including at multi-GPIO racing with the metal gates, and I hit everything. So I do, really. It's terrible. But this one will do 30 by 30, 20 by 20. It's still got the quick swap arm, so to replace an arm, we just remove the screw through the standoff, loosen up the center screw, and slide it out, slide the new one in. It's really cool.
We have a question at the moment.
What's up?
Will STL for items be available, Matt GankMan?
Yes. If you go to look up GankMan FPV on Thingiverse, everything, I should have files for everything that I've made so far, as far as my drones are related. But yeah, I'm not holding on to those. Those are free for you guys to print yourselves. Like if you've got a 3D printer, just buy the regular frame, man, and print them yourself.
Awesome. Now, my buddy TJ Williams just posted. He's running a bunch of stuff over through Buddy RC, and he just posted b-rc.co/UAV will take you directly to Drone On and On YouTube channel. Jump over and give it a sub, please, guys. This is a fresh channel. We really need to get some subs up if we want to keep doing these interviews and chit chats. So I just wanted to pop that in real quick. Sorry.
No worries. So that frame was the biggest complaint I had about the old racer was the weight, right? People were looking for the super light frames and stuff like that, and so I shortened it up, made it a True X. It comes in at 69 grams dry weight, so just under 70 grams, which is fairly compatible. I might be able to shave a little bit more off of it by changing up a few things, but so this is the one. This is what I'm running for this year. So still running 30 by 30 because I just kind of swapped everything over from the old to the new, and kept going with that. The one that I know Brock is crazy for right now is the Mutiny HD, and that one is it's a little bit considerably longer than the regular Mutiny. I mean, well, it's like 5 to 10 mils longer, just so I can fit that stuff in. That's the standard Mutiny right there.
Bam! Give him the chance.
But those I should have here shortly. Oh, I forgot to mention. So for the Mutiny, I also have. I noticed a lot of people were liking some of the frames that had crossbars, right?
Yeah.
So I have cross braces available for the Mutiny as well.
So guys, also jump over. Yeah, Gank Multirotor Innovations is Matt's page on Facebook, or one of Matt's pages.
That's kind of the owners group. The Gank Multirotor Innovations is just the owners group. So
wow.
Yeah, that one there. I think Bobby Harmon did that.
Yeah,
one,
right? That looks like a Bobby.
Yeah, he also did a Mutiny. If you go back to the previous page, there was a gray and red camo Mutiny he did. Right
this
there.
One here, yeah. Oh, Bobby, always the genius, buddy.
Dude, he's freaking wicked with that airbrush tool, man.
Oh yeah, he did the JC tribute one, the Project Blue Falcon tribute one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he painted it. It was gorgeous.
Ooh.
Here, I'll bring that one up too. Let me.
Show me the goods.
Bring it up here on.
Give me the bits.
Bits.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the post from. It was a little while ago. It was a couple of weeks ago.
Just the bits.
Just the bits. Just the bits. There it is. Boom. Let's see.
Share it over.
I'm trying. Is this it? Yay!
Yeah, that thing's wicked.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this was a Bobby Harmon paint job too, and he did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that's a Flino Centurion frame. But he sent it. He sent it to his brother, right?
Yeah, to Matt Culpepper got it and cried on live video with Trevor Howard.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, man.
Trevor delivered it to him. Trevor set a lot of it up, and a bunch of us banded together and tried to get parts. And I really didn't have too much hand in it. I just sort of helped with consulting mainly, but a lot of the other guys put a whole bunch of work into this project, and it paid off. Matt was just blown away.
Right on. That's pretty badass.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. So, awesome. Hey, Dalton, you got some weird rig set up, didn't you?
Oh yeah. You want to see the rig?
Oh yeah, let's play.
I was trying to show you the packaging for the floater motors.
Yeah,
because it's got the little poop on there. John's build. I was trying to see. You can kind of see it there, but there's a poop on the actual motor.
Nice.
Where is it?
Sean? You can get those at Team Black Sheep, right, Dalton?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, see there's one good golden poop on that one.
Yeah.
And
those are the motors that Trevor sent me too.
This was the last kind of like final setup before it turned into the fly spec, but the overall plan was still the same. Just a super light, crazy, dumb thing. But
hey man, I loved it. Like I said, that's the one that got me into the freaking micros, the Deuce.
Let's see. You said you wanted the RC fun time.
Well, we're just shooting the shit, I guess. So
let's see how bad I fail.
See how many times your dog chases it out. We were testing the stream earlier, and we ended up sitting online chatting for like an hour just before streaming anyways. So it was quite fun getting to know these guys. And Matt I had known before, but Dalton, it's been a pleasure so far, at least.
One turd. That's all I am.
Hey, you guys, see a couple. If you guys want a frame now, I do have some mutinies here.
Nice.
Like I said, I don't have the website up, so if you want some now, just hit me up. I can ship them out this week.
Sweet.
Yeah. If you want the 3D printed frames, I've only got a couple of colors done right now, so it'll take me a little bit to print different colors if that's what you want.
Everybody seems to love your frames, dude. And when you disappeared for a bit, it was like, no, I need a gang frame now. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I really do think a lot of people, I got into this to help fight off depression after a divorce.
Yeah.
So
same.
it was, I still get bouts of depression here and there. I get, shit that happens in real life that kind of, throws me off, and I kind of, distance myself from Facebook a little bit sometimes. And
yeah.
Now everyone knows.
We all do, man, and it's healthy to do that. Facebook's the devil these days.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's hard to.
And we're now off Facebook because no.
Yeah, let's not get into politics and social media. Let's keep talking on drones. But yeah, exactly. I'm really excited. So I'll have the one quad I did want to show was the one this is the one that started it all for me. This is the one that everybody kind of associates with Gank Multirotors. This was the first my first freestyle rig. I wanted a 6-inch quad. I didn't really like any of the 6-inch quads that are out there. This one with the recessed GoPro.
Can you go get me?
Right. I mean, I kind of wanted to make sure that my quad was unique enough that nobody could say I copied or imitated anybody, because I really don't like that. And I didn't want to, I really didn't think of anybody when I was making this. It was just something I wanted, right? I gave it so it's like super slammed in the back, right? We've only got like 18 millimeter spacers. This is what makes it helpful.
Nice.
Is the 18 mil spacers. But it's got 18 mil spacers in the back. But because I've got an offset bottom plate, right? so the front plate only goes to here, and the same on the top. The back plate or the back plate only goes to here. So we've got 25 mils of space for your camera, so I didn't have to like have a camera hanging out of the frame, and I didn't have to put anything to really protect it except these little bumpers here on the front. Right? Nice. And this I can go down to about 20 degrees before it starts getting really close to the camera. But
that's such a clean look too, with it sunken in there.
Yeah, that's that, and it protects the GoPro.
Oh yeah,
not going anywhere. And I really, because it's kind of a pain to get out sometimes, I designed it so that on this mount here, and I think this one in the 25 degrees, you can open the door to the GoPro to get your SD card out or charge it inside of the mount. Right. So I mean, I did the toilet tank battery straps for the people who like those. I put a lot of thought into this. So the arms, there's a lot of bolts holding the arms in, but you can't move them at all. And if you look, where is it? Right here.
Oh, dang it! We got a hair cutter.
I've recessed the flight control screws, so the flight control screws they don't touch the arm.
Yeah,
they're just they are right tucked into the slot. So this one's a little harder to maintain, which is, like I said, why I made the Mutiny the way I made the Mutiny. But like I said, this thing, I built this once. I've had this thing for 2019 or 18, I think. It's in the spring I made this, and it still flies.
Yeah.
I've only had to replace one motor. I've never broken an arm. Never broken any plates on it or anything. It's just like the freaking beater from hell. But that was the frame that started it all. And Josh and Troy Nakeen were very helpful in trying to help me produce that. And Josh actually had it up on his site. We made the arrangement we had was for him to have it up on his site and provide a fly-no warranty for it.
Yeah.
So, and he had me make some adjustments to it to make sure that it was going to be durable enough to have that little fly-no stamp on it. And so far, it's been proven to do that. I'm really debating on bringing it back because I've had a lot of people messaging me saying, "Man, where can I get one of those?" I was like, unless you can find one. They're like, I think there was only like 30 of them sold or something like that. And I know I bought 2 of them. And the second frame, so I bought a spare one for myself. And I ended up flying it for a year. And the one that I kept for myself as a spare, I sold to Maddie Blunt's. So,
nice.
So the pink and yellow Nemesis that Maddie's flying around was my spare that I never ended up using. And he's abused that thing quite a bit too, and it's still hanging in there. So
I wouldn't doubt it. Maddie's a great guy. I've flown with him.
Yeah, I might have to bring that one back, I think. People ask for it. And maybe raise the stack just a hair so see if it'll fit an HD mount in the back, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that was the one that got me that caused me to form Gank Multirotors as a company itself. Like I said, I'm not, like I said, I'm not anxious. I know I'm not going to get rich off of this. I got a, regular job. So I'm not, trying to beat people up over, money.
I think we've all realized we're not getting rich over this.
Yeah. But,
there's money in this?
Yeah.
Who told you
what
that?
Is this money people talk about?
Who told you there's money in this?
It'll help me pay for my addiction, right? My parts to build a new plot here and there, and that kind of thing. You'll never see a $90 frame from me in a I'm cool with what I do now. And like I said, this is kind of a hobby, and my friends kind of pushed me to start selling. I made them for myself. My friends start pushing me to, hey, dude, can I get one of those? And dude, you should produce these. And come on, man, why aren't you producing them? And hey, finally, why not, right? So The whole community right here has changed my life quite a bit in the past 2 years. So,
yeah, I know.
If I can give back and help me pay for my hobby at the same time, then that's awesome for me. So one of the things I did want to mention while we are sitting in here and talking about my new frame designs.
Yeah.
I need video. Okay, I'm going to announce this contest right now. I'm going to do another post live on my page to post the official contest post. What I'm going to do is I need people who own Gank frames already to send me DVR of your race footage if you've got a race footer, race quad. Send me freestyle footage if you got freestyle quad.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a bad to put together an edit using clips from people who own Gank frames, because I'm not so great of a pilot, and we're not as good as half of these guys out here. You know what I mean? like I can do some clips with the juicy flip in it, but the flying before and after that may not look so neat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna be. So anybody that owns a Gank frame right now, send me some video. I'll post up a link, and then I'll have I'll set up a Dropbox for us to put it in, and I'm gonna pick one person with the best edit will win a frame of your choice, and I'm gonna do 2 frames. So I'm gonna do 1 mutiny, and I'm gonna do 1 racer. So the mutiny could be a mutiny or mutiny HD, your choice. The racer, you could do an old school stretch racer, or you could do the new light racer, right? Yeah, and then the micros as well. I might toss in it. If you got micro footage, I know there's not a lot of people out there. Dan.
Yeah, I have some, but I need to fly it a bit more.
Yeah, Dalton has one of the Nemesises to try out. But like I said, I got to get him the updated frame before he can build it. But yeah, it's freestyle. So I'm going to start with the freestyle frames. Once I get some micros sold out there, I'm going to do the same thing for the micro footage.
Yeah.
I'll give away the frame, and then I'm going to do another giveaway through Dan, and I'm going to do another giveaway through FPV Builders coming up here in the next month or so. So lots of Gank frames to get given away. If you guys don't want to buy them, that's fine. We'll give away enough. Maybe you get a lucky chance to win one, right?
I actually, one of the ways I had talked to Matt previously 1 or 2 times, but one of the things that really actually got me communicating with Matt when I first met him was I won one of the Gank Multirotor giveaways, and I won a Mode 2 Ghost?
Oh, yeah.
Which is now that build I built for TJ Williams, who is on here posting up for us on Buddy RC. So, TJ, fly that thing. That was from Mr. Matt GankMan right there.
Yes, sir.
I think he broke it already, to be honest.
Don't call him out like that.
This was a bit. It was fast, but it was a bit fragile to me.
Yeah, he's a great dude. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the other thing I'm going to do is I know some of you guys that are on my friends list may have seen the post that I did recently, probably a month or so ago, 2 months ago, where I inventoried all my crap. I've got $5,000 worth of parts.
Yeah. I saw that.
I'm probably gonna post up my Excel spreadsheet and y'all make me an offer on whatever I've got. And,
dude, that was the most epic.
I'm not going to try to get what I paid for them. I just all these parts sitting around, and everybody out there with drones that need builds or maybe need some older parts. Some are old, some are new. I have this really bad habit of impulse buying. I woke up this morning and I had a message on my phone that says, your Insta360 Go has shipped, and I'm like, what? So apparently in my delirious, tired state, I ordered an Insta360 Go. So there'll probably be a 360 Go mount for the Nemesis Micro coming soon.
I might buy that off you.
Yeah, Josh, I got your V2 arms, buddy. I'm going to be ordering a bunch more of the Bando arms too, if you wanted the Bando ones versus the skinny ones.
Nice. Yeah, so I know Josh Kaiser
or
Verb FPV.
Yeah, so Verb was one of the first 20 to test my frame, right? So I hooked up with him at I.O., and he actually got the frame at I.O. and built it at I.O. So, but yeah, he's been bashing the crap out of it too. But yeah, I had 20 something people in the test group for the mutiny. So yeah, it's been thoroughly tested, used and abused. Yeah, stuff's been broken, mostly arms, and usually on bad crashes. It's been, like I said, it's been beat up. It's ready to go. You guys are gonna like it for sure.
Nice. I love it, man. And that's the thing. Like everybody, if you guys saw his post previously, he just did a build for it. And what was the price for the like crash and smash pack with the extra arm and all that?
So the
ready to rip
the Mutiny Bando with the 5 mil arms and the 2.5 mil bottom plate.
And the HD.
That one's 50 bones.
Nice.
The standard with the skinnier arms, which is the skinnier arms, I'll kind of show them next to each other right here, so you can kind of get an idea. Nice. A lot lighter, still 5 millimeters thick. This one's 45 standard, right? And then,
sweet.
And then for $15, until one of my printers dies, I'm offering you get a Hero Session mount, Hero Session mount, or a Hero up to 7. I don't have an 8, so I can't test it, and I heard they're different sizes. So but I have those. I have the Hero mounts that I have a crossfire antenna mount on the back of them, so you can mount the crossfire antenna vertically.
Nice.
I just sold the last Hero mount that I had printed to a local guy. Let's see, what else did I? Oh no, I didn't, did I? Sorry, I'm digging for stuff that I thought was around, but maybe it isn't.
Jake Blackburn sitting at an engagement dinner, apparently watching this. Well played, buddy. Well played.
That's diehard FPV to the soul, right there, brother.
Yeah, that's FPV life.
That's right on, buddy. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Seriously.
Yeah, thanks for your time, Jake. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but like I said, the frames, I'm not, like I said, looking to get rich on them. You're never going to see
just turn up the volume real quick. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Top 10 ways to be really good husbands or boyfriends.
That's not included. Calling in or watching a live stream from engagement dinner is probably not on that list.
You were supposed to let him turn up the volume and then turn it down and continue.
Oh, dear God. I said the loud part soft and the soft part loud.
No. Dang it.
God, this parachute is a knapsack.
I've ruined the entire
So, Dalton, you've played with JESC a little bit, right?
I've been messing around a lot. I'm fairly impressed. I'm impressed with anything really that can let me play with it and not blow up anything. So I'll allow it. It's been interesting, especially coming from somebody that tried to, like, the little floaters are kind of like their sole purpose are to use high quality parts and still have like nice magnets and other things, but not deal with so many of the problems with like super coggy motors and a lot of noise. Yeah, like a long time ago, I discovered that the more coggy like some of these micro motors are, that the higher the actual noise shoots like through the roof, and that actually like and when I say noise, I mean like in your gyro. So like whenever you're flying, it's what your actual flight controller has to filter out.
Yeah.
But hold on.
Now I haven't really had.
Sorry, I thought World War II was happening on the other side of that door.
Hey man, I got kids too. I know the feeling. But I have not yet tried it on a 5-inch or anything, but I've heard that, and I have tried it on the Cerberus 2.5. So I've heard it's pretty good. It seems to be pretty good on the micros, but I heard it's really awesome for micros. What that Talon F7? That's 32-bit, right, Matt?
Yes, sir. That is a 32-bit. It is 15 amp ESC continuous and 20 amp max.
Hell yeah!
32-bit. Now, if you look at it, if I can get the glare off of it.
Yeah, here. Let me.
Yeah, you can see that the ESC sticks out a little bit more than the 16x16 does. So some of the frames you may have trouble mounting this in, or you may have to mount it sideways. And actually, let me show you the pads are on the bottom of the.
Nice.
Here, so
you can do the wraparound under.
Yeah, tuck them in from underneath. That's I'm a big fan of that. Where even if it hits the edge of the board, it's really kind of tucked away. I did that on the Nemesis Micro.
Nice.
Focus in on that or not.
I love those zings, man. I've got a baby skull and
my arms are crooked when you're looking at that. Everybody's seeing like maybe these footies are. I didn't make them deep enough, so they kind of sit weird, so it makes it look like my motor's a little bit off.
As long as they protect the arm, you're good. It's that fraying and the denting of that arm that
I definitely do. Like I said, I've landed on asphalt, hit a couple of trees with it. I got knocked out of the sky by a DJI Matrice 600.
Nice. I saw that video. That was wicked. I can't believe what it was the remote control car.
Oh yeah,
the video.
And, my friend Hootie in his little RC car. Dude, he had 4 high-def cameras mounted on that RC car, and was just.
Dude, you were so lucky with that shot. That was such an epic shot.
It was perfect, yeah, because he got him right before he went to turn. And
like boof.
I didn't even see Mike because I was just kind of swooping in. And usually I'm faster than him. The previous runs, I could keep up with the RC car, and he couldn't.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I had that tiny little micro. But yeah, it was just kind of I went to go catch up behind Terry and kind of swoop up behind and around him, and as he was turning, and as soon as I cut across, it was like right into the propellers, and I got chopped up a couple of times and spit out the bottom. Battery took a hit. Actually, I think I've got the split battery here somewhere.
And the Matrice only broke a prop, right?
Yeah, the Matrice broke the tip off of one of his props, but it didn't even bobble. It hovered really good. It landed fine, man. So
yeah, my 690 hexacopter, I had one prop just dropped, like snapped pretty much in half, and only one half of it was still on, and it landed fine. It had no problem. Like. So all right.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to show you one more quad that the very first, actually so I said the Nemesis was the one that started it all.
Yeah.
That's really not true because I had no idea of how to manufacture a frame, and I really, really wanted this, and I've showed it to you, Dan. The hexacopter. I wanted a 5-inch hex. Right.
Nice.
So I went and talked to Josh from Flymo, and don't mind the janky GoPro mount. It was what was.
Oh, that's wicked.
But this is a 5-inch 5S stretched hex.
Okay.
So
okay.
This is technically the first thing I designed, although I did design it through Josh's hand. He was the wizard behind the computer part. But yeah, this thing is freaking wicked. So it's got, I put Flyno LEDs on the bottom so it lights up like a UFO, and man, it just hauls ass. 5S, 1800 or 2200 milliamp hour battery, and it just freaking goes.
That is freaking spectacular. This was the
first thing I had an idea for, and I wanted to bring it to life. It cost me a pretty penny to do it, but it was like, it was my Christmas present to myself, so I didn't care. Right?
Dude, you did good. Merry Christmas to you.
But I remember when he did that.
This thing was probably one of the funnest things I've ever had a hand in.
Well, I got something to show you too. This is going up as a giveaway on my page, Micro Quad Squad, soon.
Oh yeah, you showed me that, dude. That was pretty wicked. I was there. I was trying to help you find the board for that. Remember?
Yeah. This board was super hard to find, and Ryan Kitka in Alaska actually ended up coming through in the clinch.
Ryan Kitka's awesome, man. He was
Ryan's epic.
He was one of my first Nemesis customers.
Nice.
What do you like? Hand make an FC for you?
No, it was the old school SP Racing Evo F3 brush.
Oh,
Yeah, it had 6 motor ports.
yeah.
And that was the key. And you could usually find it in like the cheapo RTF like toy grade ones for a while. But the thing is, you could still flash it with Clean Flight and Beta Flight and all. And I was like, okay, I need this board. I need to find this board. Oh man, sweet. We're getting a lot of people.
I know, right? Brock is so. I swear he's mentioned that high def mutiny about 20 times in the chat.
Oh yeah, he wants that mutiny so bad.
I know, that's awesome, dude. I appreciate that. I'm seriously, I am gonna get the order out this week, so I'll have them soon.
It's like I want that thing so bad.
Yeah, he's already saying he wants to go to bed right now and that he's leaving, but he's like he needs to make a point. I need that HD mutiny, by the way.
Yeah, that's one thing I like about this community, man. I tried to design my things to look a little different because everything was, like I said, starting to look the same, right? So,
yeah.
And the community kind of digs that, right? And I'm a basher. I'm freaking not that great of a flyer, so I build them durable, and the community likes that too, right? So,
hey, my best friend from the film industry, Nabil Milne, he and I were a film crew together for many years. He just popped on to say, "Hey, what's up, Nabil? I'll talk to you in a few after we finish this." We play video. We play Battlefield 4 online. Pretty much every night just to keep in touch because he's up in Canada. So
Battlefield, that was one of my. I was like a much bigger fan of Battlefield than Modern Warfare, but just less of my friends had it.
Yeah, and he and I found that game was just fun to play, and at the time we were both getting charged a whole lot for like me living in the States and calling Canada. So I was like, well, why don't we just go online and play? And we started doing that. And it became a way for friends to keep in touch, and I ended up getting pretty good at the game. I don't game much, so.
Yeah, a question from Josh Kaiser. Yeah, thanks for putting that up, Dan.
Yeah.
So, yeah, actually, Josh, that would be sick, dude. I'm really so I've got a couple of just logo shirts set up to make on my. I have a silk screen machine, so I can literally make our own freaking shirts. I just, like I said, we're working on the design. I've just got so much going on, and I'm still working full time. So, but yeah, for sure, dude. If you could freaking design a mutiny shirt, hell yeah, we can work out a little deal. I can slide some money from the sales too. So hit me up.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure everybody knows, but Matt made a joke on his page, and I kind of want him to follow through with it because I want a Gank Multirotors face mask. I really, really, really want one. I think that would be amazing.
All right, so here's the deal. I'll give you straight up. I'm not trying to make any money off of these. I think the price is ridiculous, right? So for a minimum of 20, they want $10.50 or 70 cents or something like that a piece. Right, so I'm really
ridiculous in terms of pricing, but I'd buy one.
It's expensive, and I'm not going to have anybody to pay that much for a freaking mask. But it's like, if I get 20 people that say they'll pay $11 plus shipping for them, I will get 20. How's that?
Nice.
So send me a message, right? If you want to pay $11 plus shipping, and I'll probably just be able to throw them in an envelope. So I'm hoping it's like 1 stamp, maybe 2 stamps. So like nowadays, it's like $1.20, $1.30, or whatever. But if I can get 20 people, I will make it. But I'm going to make the second one that I posted down in the comments, Dan, not the one that I posted up first, because the long Gank logo looks kind of weird. It almost looks like it's shifted off center, but the tall logo fits on there. So yeah, hey man, if people want them, like I said, I thought they were too expensive, so I wasn't going to do it. And I don't have $200 to freaking buy 20 masks for myself.
I'm thinking I'm gonna start doing some like Teespring or whatever shirts for Micro Quad Squad and S.A.R.Dronic UAVs as well.
I told you, man, I've got a silk screen machine set up, so I can do 4 colors. I'm comfortable doing 1 or 2 for sure.
Cool.
I'll have to practice a little bit on the multicolors to make sure the alignments are all right, but I have a silk screen machine.
Nice. There's a couple of guys. I know, what's his name? Chris Wilson. Chris Wilson actually did this one for me, the I Build Drone shirt. And he just randomly, I was like, hey, I want one of those. And he was like, cool, what's your address? I was like, oh, okay, cool, all right.
Cool.
It's like, what color do you want? Cool.
Yeah, Josh, that is one other thing I'm looking into was to see if I can find the masks bulk. And
yeah,
like I said, I have a screen print machine, so. Hold on, my son just snuck in here asking me to do something.
it's all good.
2 seconds.
So, what is that? The Tiny Hawk Racer?
What? Oh, that's the freestyle.
Freestyle, yeah.
With some cool community prints.
Nice.
I'm not gonna lie to you and say I designed these. A more amazing man did. But I thought they were really cool. If you need them, here, let me see. Maybe I can find and credit the same person who made these. But there's a Facebook group for the Emax, Baby Hawk, and Tiny Hawk. And someone on there has been designing some freestyle 3D prints. And I enjoyed the way some of them looked.
I tried to print the freestyle frame. Got some motors that would fit it perfectly and would house some pretty decent props too.
I just liked, I switched to the XT30. So here, let's see if I can focus.
Nice.
But I switched to the XT30 and it was always getting in the way and felt a little chopped. So I like these. You can plug it into the back. Yeah. So like that way when you plug this sucker in, if you kind of like tuck your balance leads like I do.
Yeah, I tuck mine in between the power leads as well.
You get this kind of, and there's also a little slot on the bottom for the antenna.
Nice. So
you kind of get this little like sleek, slim package, so everything's away from propellers.
Are those the HQ 75s? The prop?
They're the HQ 65 millimeter, okay. I think. But they're the not the push-on prop ones, because push-on props are 2014.
They're these ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the 2.5 inch, I think.
They're gonna be like 1 or 2 millimeters larger than a traditional. 2.5 inch is like 65 millimeters, or no, it's 64 or 63.2 or something like that.
Yeah.
And just having the 65 millimeter just makes it a little bit larger, but it's like you're talking about like micro, like talking about like half a millimeter of difference between those. But
yeah,
I don't know why people care about the minuscule difference. They're really 2.5 inch props, but they're labeled, and I think HQ and a bunch of other people sell them now. It just specifically branded as like 65 millimeter props, or it could be. But
toothpick props. Toothpick is the word everybody's choosing now.
No, we don't use that word. Dalton and I boycott that word.
Yeah. I don't boycott that word. It's a viable product that's going out. No, there's difference.
I have absolutely no argument that the toothpick drone is awesome. My argument is against calling every micro drone a toothpick.
I fully agree.
I mean,
dude, the little Deuce.
I'll say this. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything bad about it. I don't think there's anything like. I may have my own personal drama with Bob Ruge, but I don't think that should affect anyone's opinion that the toothpick was a cool idea. But I will say that there are a bunch of micros out there that are not toothpicks, and there are a bunch of toothpicks out there that are actually micros. and the branding
being
right
branded,
now.
yeah.
But the branding of the name now is no longer really, in my opinion, a form of like innovation. It's kind of a stalling point. Like for a little bit, there was some push forward for new tech and stuff. Like we got some cool AOE boards.
Yeah.
But by calling everything a toothpick, it just you started having people just copy each other.
It was like a whoop, like calling everything a whoop.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like the great race for a ducted drone. It was like everyone had like a whoop, and then the Cinewhoop thing, everyone had a ducted HD frame, like Beta FPV, GPRC, iFly, like all these companies just out of nowhere, you were just started seeing the same thing. So there's a lot of like these hype things and hype terms, and I think like, because I don't want to devalue the toothpick. I mean, I may have my own drama and stuff, you know, like I said, but I don't want to put anybody in the same position of like disparaging their work or anything they might have done.
Oh no, the only thing the only problem I have with it is I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the micro designers that came before the toothpick by calling everything a toothpick, or even individual designers, you know.
I mean, I will say that's true because, in my opinion, there's no way to come up with any of my ideas or anything that I designed without being in the micro community group page that's existed for like 5-6 years or whatever. So, and I can't even tell you that I was a wizard and I designed this all by myself and just thought of it and made it up. All of it was just research, you know, like there were dudes making things like the Deuce and the toothpick way before I was even doing it. They just were like, I saw like one of the dudes that I made my frame off of and got inspired by was, I find it ironic that the toothpick is a name now because there was a dude who literally like made a drone out of skewers.
Yeah.
Like he made like he had a drone out of like just long wooden skewers, and he glued brushless motors and put a 1S battery and an FC to it, like in 2014 or something like that. This dude was like gluing sticks together, and I wish I knew his name, but
my buddy Chad South is one of those guys who he builds like the designs like hexawhoops and stuff, and just random like hexacopter little brushed, but with brushed motors. They're brilliant and they're all very unique. And I'm like, dude, transfer this to brushless. Like, do something to make these usable. Like, I love them.
And I'll actually push, like, there's different people out there, like, there's a user on the RC forums called Elm Tree, and he really kind of pushed me into being like kind of like the weight weenie. Like that's kind of where the little Deuce kind of like I inspired to do that, is like I became the weight weenie where I was like, I thought of it kind of like the same way you think of like hot rodding, where it's like you just remove everything that's not needed. And you just get there with like, you're like, I don't need this. Who needs that? Screw that. You start ripping things off to, you're like, I've got this atrocity, but it's a monster. I guarantee it.
I only need a top plate if I'm going to hit something. So
dangers, whatever. Like,
that was the first time when I saw this open Deuce frame.
I tell you what, man, it was a super slick design. I loved it.
Oh yeah, and actually one of my prototypes. Here, I'll show you.
Nick's is going to make an appearance.
I'm always super worried about because it's
puppers.
Yeah, hi. Is that Nick's?
Yeah, that's Nick's. She's tall enough to reach the table now.
Hi, Nick's.
4 feet tall, so.
Jeez, yeah, that was very fast that she grew up.
Oh, dude, she's growing like a weed.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Matt, I told you I got a little present for Nick's, actually. And
you showed me
it to you. I showed it to you earlier, but for everybody else, I got him a little line-of-sight toy nano drone to chase the dog with. So
that'll be a little snack. I don't find my own micro around that dog.
So I've been worried about landing this hard because the stack is completely open right in the middle underneath too, because it's a pusher plus design. Here, there's the camera angle, so it would go forward like that.
Whoa.
That's crazy, right?
And it's got a skirt. I've got videos of Mason Lively, who's a multi-GP racer, and a couple other random people just flying it. Pretty much the whole Florida Rowdy Quads crew has had a turn with this this bad girl, but it's a 3-inch pusher plus design with only 1104 motors, I think, the old flight test Gremlin motors.
Yeah,
and I was surprised after I got the tuning right. It's super efficient, and the motors don't even get hot. Like with this layout, I was running a 550 milliamp 3S, and I was getting around 4.5 minutes of flight just cruising around, and that's almost 100 milliamps per minute. Like
so it's like it's super funny to me, honestly. I think what really was mind blowing to me when I first started designing motors and getting into that was that I realized that a lot of the performance in the micro world wasn't a lack of technology, but a lack of effort to put the money into making things the way they should be made. Yeah. Because with my floater motors, like honestly, some people think they're like I used to get a lot of hate for how priced they were. And people used to message me and be like, "Oh, you're just gouging us." And I'd be like, "I make $1 per motor because I wanted to make you more. I wanted to make you something super awesome." Yeah. And they're like, "Bullshit." And I'm like, "I mean, I'm not rolling in dough, so clearly, like I make $1 or something." So it's like,
that's one thing I hate about this industry is the people that really do a lot of the innovation and stuff kind of get tanked by the people who provide the money and kind of I understand they deserve some of that, but
the credit gets brushed under the rug.
Well, hearing some of these pilots with their own frames, saying they only make a couple bucks per frame and the frame costs $100, I'm like, man, these companies need to start kicking these pilots a little more dough than that, because that's just wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some things to be said too. Like that's an ongoing argument too, especially with like Armaton and other places. Like there's people who argue all the time that some of the cutting services might be a little more expensive than others. But I think at the end of the day, Armaton is pretty good. I've gotten a couple cuts from them. I've never been sad or unsatisfied. And I will say the only thing that I liked is, even though it did take a long time to get something from them, when I got something cut, they replaced my mistake. Do you still have that old? Are you digging up a relic right now? I know what you're getting. Yeah, I know what he's getting too. He's finding this atrocious relic that I designed in 2017.
I got both of them. Hold on.
You have both the relics from 2017. Dude, I for some reason wanted to be like Richard Sheldon, so I made I think his name is Richard Shelton, or the guy who made the ultra thin frames.
Yeah.
Did I say his last name right, or am I butchering it? Yeah, there it is. Oh man, that thing was gnarly.
That looks a little cattywampus.
That was scary, dude.
It's got these double stacked arms, so you've got these two tiny little stick arms, but it's double stacked 5mm carbon, so it's 10mm thick.
They were actually extremely durable. That build, so many people complained to me, but the people who actually got it finished were like, dude, bro, the center of gravity on that was insane, because it was so literally low. I made it so I think the gap, I had custom standoffs made for it, so it was I think it was 11 millimeters of space. So you had just enough room for the FC to be free floating, and then it was a little bit longer than some other quads. So you pretty much stacked it with the VTX in the back, the FC in the middle, and all your camera stuff and your RX up front, and you just kind of laid it out in a certain way. But it was just really funny, because I honestly built that with the knowledge of knowing that if I can build a Rotor X Atom and cram that much stuff in there, that someone else can build this and cram all the stuff as well.
Yeah.
So Dalton, the reason I didn't build this is because, like you were saying, you never had any trouble with Armatan. So that's a top plate, right?
Yeah, that was his bottom plate. They gave him the same plate twice.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I ordered it from Armatan, so I was a little bummed out, but it is what it is.
That's awesome.
He was like messaging me. He's like, I don't know where your thing mounts to. And I was like, there's like many of holes, man. He's like, dude, these things don't line up at all. And I was like, did I mess up? What happened? And I looked, I'm like, oh, you've got two of the same thing.
So Dalton,
do you have the bombshell too? Do you made of everything I've ever made?
Yeah,
What's
he did a whole inventory with his.
That's the racer. Oh,
that's wicked.
Dalton tried to make a racer, and we call it the Lemon.
Yeah. Yeah. They called it another name, but Lemon is a nicer one.
Lemon was the PG rated for live video.
Baby strong arm quad.
Strong arm.
It's really kind of cool. He's got a recessed area underneath there, right? But
call it Arnold.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's freaking brutish.
Let me see if did I ever actually. Hold on.
Did you build that one out or no?
No, yeah, you guys built that out for me.
Oh, that's right. Caden built that out.
Yeah. You guys built that for me, and my mind exploded because it was like super.
Did we use the NADS motors from the North?
Yeah.
Shit?
That thing was. That thing was so much fun. Terrifying.
Or something, wasn't it?
Do what?
This was your birthday present or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was my birthday present.
Yeah, I think me, Mike, Terry, and Caden all kind of chipped in for the parts and shit, and Caden built it out for you. Yeah, Caden's actually in the chat right now. What's up, Caden? Ryan Kitka has joined too.
Nice.
So thanks for purchasing a Mutiny. And Dan was talking about you earlier for supply.
Yeah, Ryan. Ryan designed the canopy for this Hexawhoop, actually, and supplied the board.
Yeah,
so,
Ryan's a good dude, man.
He's a good dude. Very good dude. Get the quad chopper.
Get to the hexacopter.
Get to the hexacopter. Then get down.
Let me see. How did I do this last time? I just did it a second ago.
What are you trying to do? Share the screen?
Hold on.
There it is. There it is. It popped up over here. There you go.
All right.
So that was the other one. But see, it was like I'm trying to see if there was a picture of the side recess in it. No, that was a micro. Hold on.
Well, that was the first micro that you did, right?
Yeah. I basically made like, oh, there it was. Where is it? Oh, hold on. There it was. There was what the racer started out as.
Nice.
It's like I wanted the camera to be like recessed down into the frame so it was less likely. And you can kind of see that there's like a ring right here. It was supposed to, the concept was that the ring would be like the brunted force of like if you ever did have a bad smash, it would help like take some of like if you hit a pole basically. Because at the time, a lot of frames were just like the camera was open. You know what I mean?
So, Skadoosh is online. What's up, Skadoosh?
That guy's my favorite.
Yeah, so if you look here in the front, it's kind of hard to see, I think. But yeah, he's got a recessed area right here for the cam.
Yeah.
And this ring that kind of sticks out in the front to protect it. And it's actually double stacked. The bottom part is a little narrower than the top, but it still provides a little bit of extra protection for that. And then he's got a little recessed area in the middle for where the flight controller and ESC goes, so a little airflow underneath there too.
You know, I will say that frame never broke. I beat the shit out of it. Like it's in my garage still. Like I think the motors blew out before anything else did. And then I think when I swapped new motors, there's something where like I bought another set of not NADS motors, but I got another set of those motors and they were like, they just like blew the ESC up on battery plug-in. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I wasn't destined for this.
Let's see here.
I'm gonna be on audio, but I keep seeing the cigarettes, so I can't do that inside because, you know,
I hear you. I hear you.
my wife hates me, I guess. Okay, like that's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say.
I don't like doing it on live either, but I sometimes do.
If you notice, Dan and I are both in a garage.
Yeah.
You know what?
Area.
For some reason, I was dumb and I just wanted to be here. So
Yeah, I don't smoke in the house either.
I was like, I'm gonna make a streaming cavern in my office. Well, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing mine in the garage. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. What else we got to talk about, Dan?
Right now, I'm seeing if Skadoosh wants to jump in or not.
Oh, no.
I was going to say to a little bit that that JESC stuff too.
Yeah,
for sure. Talk about
that stuff is.
So you were now in the discussion we had, Dalton. You said that the JESC was much more valuable to micropilots, right?
I think overall it's going to be pretty valuable to generally anyone. So like, and I think this also kind of helps a lot of beginners as well, because you know, like a lot of times you see people buying these cheap parts and stuff like that, and you know, you're not trying to shame anybody as you know, anybody, you know, thinks they will be shamed for this or whatever. But, you know, these cheaper motors and things like that can cause a lot of noise, especially when you're starting out. And so, you know, a lot of times people learn these lessons sometimes where they buy cheap motors and they get like a drone that, you know, flies like crap, and they just kind of think like that's their whole experience with the hobby, is like everything's just going to be like crap and blah blah blah. But with these new, like the JESC, what it's basically doing is it's kind of like improving upon what BL Heli S did, but without having to do any extra hookups or anything. So all it's doing is it's communicating to the flight controller, and it's able to basically send a signal that communicates the speed of the motor so that the PID loop can then basically follow that, which causes basically way less noise for the flight controller, because instead of having to guess about motor noise that's going to be potentially coming in, it now knows like, hey, there's like, you know, like bad example, but you know, it can know that there's like 1600 kilohertz of noise coming in a millisecond, so it should prepare a filter for that noise set coming in. And that's just kind of what this has done now. So with the JESC software, what he's done is he's created different levels of that filter. So there's the base filter that's applied is a 24 kilohertz. I think it goes 24, 48, and 96. And all of those are kind of like basically the more noisy you assume your motor is, the higher you should go in kilohertz. And it will basically kind of like, if you apply that RPM filtering in the newest beta flight and things like that, you'll have a machine that in all technicality should like get better battery efficiency, lower amp draw, and then you'll also have like less of a chance of blowing motors as well.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's always good. But yeah, RPM filtering, I think on high kV motors seems like it would be much more
useful.
Well, another thing though is like what it's also doing is it's like before ESCs were kind of like before ESCs like just kind of like threw out a whole bunch of numbers and errors, and then when they would come back, your flight controller and the ESC would kind of like debate those errors, fix them, and then the PID loop would solve some stuff, and then it would go back and forth. And just that whole process is very like, it's just, you know, kind of like it just like a debate, you know, like anything like for politics, it's just like two people screaming at each other, like, you know, and they're just trying to figure something out. Yeah. And with this new setup, really, it's just kind of allowing everything to just like smoothly talk to each other the whole time. And so they're able to just communicate like, hey, I'm having these problems. Hey, I'm doing this. So you're just solving a bunch of problems that like Like you're just cleaning up the noise, which is also cleaning up the amount of overwork that your drone used to have to do. So like, I think the best example I was given is like, you know, when you have bad prop wash, that's like kind of a mix of the motor, the ESC, and the actual like wind in your drone, like fighting all those factors, creating that. And it's like, imagine if your drone could know when prop wash is coming. And that's kind of like the best way to think about JESC.
Yeah. And one thing that I did notice was I had on the new 4.2, I had just stock without JESC or anything. I had really bad motor heat on some of my 2.5 inch and 2 inch. And it's something in the filters that's doing it for the new stock settings for 4.2, which is fine. But when I switched to JESC and flashed everything 48 kilohertz, it significantly improved that problem and the timing and everything.
So back in the days, like I used to try to, like, I don't know, I was not very well. I wasn't quite to the point where I was making enough money to have a legit setup to stream and make videos about certain content and tuning. But back in the day, I did always suggest, like with micros before, you know, when you first got dynamic filters introduced, we were, whenever we first started getting those, I told people that micros needed higher filters than 5 inches because they're going to be noisier than a 5-inch motor.
Yeah.
And in my personal findings, like that was just always just through and through the case. And that was also why, like, certain motor sizes too, for a long time were deemed like hot and very like, I think the Emax 1106 series, like people would say like, is it normal for my motors to get hot? And everyone would say yes, because at the time it was. There was just nothing to help prevent that. It was just the coggy motor, the voltage, and everything else. It was just
was that the 1106 or the 1306? I had trouble with
it was the 1106s, the first ones that
the 13s had a bad problem with that too, actually.
Yeah, they all did because they weren't cooled until they later out. But they later solved that problem.
Right here.
Yeah, I've got the 1306. This is the old Gep RC Sparrow with the little aluminum cage on the top.
Yeah,
and that's also too coming from a lot of this stems as well from companies borrowing ideas from other things, like in like stepper motors and in certain application processes for like agricultural drones and things like that. Yeah. They used extremely coggy motors to deal with what the relation of torque in a motor is only as good as the magnets you use and the actual stator shape and size. It doesn't actually matter about kV or anything like that. So like a long time ago, like when FPV was first in its infancy, there was this untold, rumor going around that with no proof that the lower kV you had, the more torque your drone had. Because people were applying like the same like principles like for cars, you gear lower, you go more torque, you get higher up, which was not the case. Brushless motors are linear. So you can have a 6,000 kV motor and a 12,000 kV motor, and they have the same torque. Which is an interesting fact because like a lot of motor companies, that's where people were like, okay, we need these really strong motors. They have to be super coggy. You have to do all this. And all that does is like, if you add that with a really unbalanced bell, you get screaming hot motors with a really hot, you get screaming hot motors because they make 1 billion pounds of noise. Yeah. And that's just kind of like where micros were, honestly, for a long, long time, is you were just kind of stuck with like I remember too, I had the Spintech, I think it is, the Spintech 1106, like 8,000 kV motors, and you could run them on 2S, and it felt like you were flying on 4S. Yeah. But I remember those motors got like the same story. They were the most coggy motors on the century. They got unbearably hot, but they were like the peak of performance. They were just like something super cool that hadn't been done yet. Just a really tiny, almost pancake motor with the most coggy thing you could ever see. And he created a trend. Like everyone followed after him, like Emax and all the other people. They started making kind of the same thing, just like that whole fad of make a lower KV feel like a higher KV. Then became the battle in micros.
Yeah, that cogginess. Remember those Hawk Sky freaking 1508s that I got?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, these things here are so freaking notchy. It's ridiculous. I thought the Tornadoes, the 1406 Tornadoes were freaking notchy. These things are just ridiculously.
Okay, Hyperlight.
Warm too.
The Hyperlight 1106 7122 kV race series. These are the clickiest motors I've ever felt in my life.
I'll have to send you some of these Hawk Sky ones. Those are nice.
Oh, those are the Hyperlights. Those are when they were getting them made by Brother Hobby, right?
Yeah. They're very much
those
like the little runners.
They're gonna feel like the Rotor X motors because Rotor X was OEM'd by Brother Hobby for a minute.
Yeah.
So they're just gonna have that
super clicky. Like they make so much like I can't. You can hear the grinding. And it's not grinding. It's just click, 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 click. Like it's
and see that's also where like coming from a motor design standpoint, that's where there's like what I mentioned this today in a comment on a micro forum and on Facebook, but there's a sweet balance between doing a really coggy motor and having because some companies
super
try to some companies solve this problem because it's funny how many to me people send me motors and they're like, I love these motors, they're so smooth, can you tell me why I like them? And it's because they're really companies solve certain problems by cheaping out on other things when the problem could be solved another way. Basically, a lot of companies, if they design a motor and they get to the end phase and they realize that the magnets they've chosen are too strong and it'll make for too coggy of a motor, they'll just use cheaper magnets instead. Instead of going back and redesigning the bell to space those really nice magnets further apart.
Just a little less magnetism. That's all you need.
They'll just use cheaper magnets. And then what's funny though is then people will share me stuff and they'll be like, dude, I love these motors, they're so good, and they'll send me photos and the magnets look thinner than pennies.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well here's why they feel smooth. They're basically 10% or they're missing 30% of their potential power.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of companies do that. Is they solve engineering problems by cheaping out other ways.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a big thing I've noticed. I think the argument was opposed to somebody saw these RCN Power 12, they're 1204. They're 1204 motors. And I think Bob Ruge or somebody, FPV Cycle, they make the same motor. And somebody was like, what's the difference between the two? And they were comparing them. And a bunch of people were talking about the size of the magnet difference between two motors. And they were just, talking about I don't know what different magnet sizes means. And I was like, I'll tell you right now, a thinner magnet means cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing is when I was talking to Hawk Sky about some of the stuff to try to improve their motors, one of the things that I had told them was to increase the air gap just a little bit between the silicon sheets and the magnets. It brought down the notchiness, but it also the motor operation is all about how the magnetic fields cross between what we're sending through the coils and what is on the permanent magnet itself. And the more perpendicularly you get that to cross, the more the motor torque is. I found that just adding an extra 0.5 millimeter gap between the sheeting and the motor really makes for a much smoother motor. Still, you can use this still N52 magnets, right, with a high power and everything, and it turns out really good. So I've got a set of their 2208s on my freestyle rig. They're ridiculously nice. I love them, and these have been used for 1.5 years. So, but I really like the design on them too, right?
At this stage in time, honestly, what I think the best place for some people is if there's a company you like that's making a motor that doesn't only make motors, then 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a rebrand of something else.
Made by
So I would assume, and this isn't always the case because there's some dudes that are coming out of the woodworks that are making really good motors, and the only way they have to do this is to go through somebody else. But 9 times out of 10, some people boast like these large pushes in innovation or other things like that, and they just they rebrand an old motor or something that's already out there. Yeah. And so I always tell people, just do your research. Like if somebody's putting out a 1202 motor or something, see how many 1202 motors are out there. And a lot of times, like the people that do the shameless rebranding, they don't even care half the times that they've done shameless rebranding. So you'll notice that some things are they absolutely just change the color and put their name on the side or something. Oh, yeah. Which I'm not saying is 100% always the bad thing, because there's certain things where some companies just don't want to make motors, and that's the only way they'll do them is if you order 600 of them with your name on it or something. So there's definitely it's definitely a balanced system. But I always at least tell people at least do your research, check out and see if there's other motors like that out there. Yeah. Because 9 times out of 10, too, is for the opposite flip of the coin, where if it is actually a really good motor, if you break one, you might be able to buy another branded motor and just get back up flying faster. Yeah.
One of the really cool things I found about Hawksky is they were not as. I mean, I think their MOQ was 500, but for 500, I get a custom design bell. I can get any KV I want, most motor sizes that I want. I can get the EZO or the NSK bearings. I can get M52 magnets, hollow titanium shafts, any of that. So I've had a bunch of motors made from Hawksky, and I tell you what, I really like them. They're actually on sale right now. I'm going to buy some more here pretty quick. But they're 2208. So in case you guys haven't really heard of Hawksky, Hawksky has made a lot of really good quality motors. There's another Amber Alert, guys. But
Texas is full of them, huh?
Yeah, we're close to the border, so yeah.
Oh, true.
We made some the North Austin Drone Squad, which my friend Terry and I started just kind of as a place to post our videos and stuff like that. NADS for short. Right, for all you NADS members, fly like you have a pair, man. Fucking rocking.
Greatest name ever.
Oh, dude, I tell you what. And
North Austin Drone Squad.
Terry and I have been talking about changing it to North American Drone Squad and just inviting everybody to come along, right?
No, only a few people deserve to be NADS.
Well, I don't.
Straight NADS.
Dude, I think we've got 300 members on that page. I think in that group, it's awesome. It's crazy.
That dude has NADS.
That's it. Fly like you got a pair, baby. And actually, I've got a big vinyl poster sticker. You can't see it because it's between my TV and the wall over here. But I had a big poster made up for when I went to Multi GPIO, and we had so I've got a little Deuce poster that's 2 foot by 4 foot. I've got a NADS poster that's 2 foot by 4 foot. I've got the big Gank vinyl logo here behind me and stuff. So I just gotta.
I'm proud that everywhere you go, there's a turd.
That's right. Everywhere you go.
Well, I now own a flying turd, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Hey, man, we all got
it. We all got to start somewhere.
I'm playing with your poo.
You got to get it. Yeah, we're all playing with poo somewhere.
We're all just monkeys, right?
Yes, it's drones.
And then sometimes we play with drones too.
My friend Jill texted and said she joined. She's watching. So hello, Jill.
Right. Hello. Well, I gotta jump off pretty soon. You guys got anything else we should cover?
Just wanted to let me answer Jeremy's question right now.
Yeah,
so Jeremy, if you go to their website, I believe they do have the 1800 kV. I prefer the 2000 or 2200 kV, just so I can run them. Yeah, I had them make 2200 kV motors for me specially. But the 1800s, I believe they might have on their webpage. If you send me a message, I'll send you a link to their website. I believe they've got some 2208s there. But yeah, I really like those. The 2208 1800 kV, for you guys that didn't know, those were Bob Ruge's, the Ruge motor that was out for a little while, right? He just didn't have any kind of etching on the side at all. But yeah, those were the Ruge motor. I had them made at slightly higher kV so I could run a little bit cooler long range with it. But if I wanted to go nuts, I could just slap a 5S battery on it and I'm good, right? So
awesome. Well, Scooter Pie says you guys are great. So glad I fit to find y'all. So thanks, Scooter Pie.
Scooter Pie, props off. I love your icon.
Yeah.
I want to just for the guys that joined late, let me just post.
Yeah, go through it.
So this is just real quick. This is the new Gank 3-inch racer. It is 27 grams dry weight, replaceable arms, runs 3-inch props, so it'll fit 16 by 16 or 20 by 20, barely.
Mine's packing a 20 by 20 and has almost no room, but it fits perfect. Like it's
so
like
I'm going to add
almost no room.
back and fix that. But so and then this is the Nemesis Micro. All right, this is available in it will be available in a 2.5-inch or a 3-inch version. The 3-inch version will have a 3 mil plate, bottom plate. The 2.5s will have a 2.5 mil bottom plate. The Mutiny Freestyle, these ones are, I have them now. I just can't, I don't have the website up yet. But
and the HD, yeah.
Yeah, I've got 6 or 7 of these. And then the Bando edition, the 5mm arms, 5mm thick, 12mm wide arms, and 2.5 mil bottom plate. Like I said, if you guys want one of these right away, hit me up. I'll sell them to you. Send me a message. I'm working on getting the webpage up, and I'll be getting more in soon. I'll be getting the Mutiny HD, which is the same version of the Freestyle here, just a little bit longer. It's designed for DJI. The camera mounts are a little bit wider for the DJI cams. And the Racer, right? The new Racer Pro. This one's new this year. This is my new Racer. Easy swap arms. Comes in just under 70 grams dry weight.
And is that one like the Racer Mini, where it's got the 2 arms are one continuous arm?
No,
or one piece.
I did the boomerang arm for the Mini Racer just because it was a small, and doing individuals would require extra screws, and I didn't want to do that. But these are individual arms on the Racer, and they're quick swap. I believe that. Let me show you one real quick. So it's the same quick swap design as what I've got out in the Freestyle quads. The arm itself is a little bit smaller, as you can see. I've got the notch in the screw.
Yeah. Right? Nice.
So, but these are individual race arms. If you buy the Racer Pro kit, it comes with all the 3D prints, the turtle fin, the wire mounts, the axis and the SMA mount, and it comes with an extra arm. So, but yeah, these are all, I'm really excited about all these. I think everybody's going to freaking love them when they start flying them. They're just, I've enjoyed them. Everybody that's flown them's really enjoyed them. You can see some of the guys like Bird posting up in there. He loves that, my Mutiny. He's had it for, I don't know, I think 13 months now. So
Scooter just asked, what's the maximum up tilt for the 20 by 20 in the first one, the Racer? I've got mine probably at like 25 to 30 degrees actually.
So Scooter, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's at about, I'd say probably about 70. I think is probably max with that canopy.
Yeah, with I'm at low. I'm at my lowest tilt on the canopy right now, and I'm at like 25. So it can go up there, but with the 20 by 20 stack, 20 by 20 stack, I can only go halfway.
Right.
So
with the 16 by 16, it does, the camera doesn't touch even at the max tilt.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's hard to tell, but I think it's around 70-ish, 65, 70-ish for max tilt.
I'd say with the 20 by 20, it's touching at around 50.
Okay.
It seems, but that's just with my giant 20x20 35 amp in there. Because
I'm also debating on making the arms on the racer are 3 mil thick. I'm also looking at possibly a 4 mil thick 4-inch, and possibly making that whoop board accessible as well, because there seems to be like 20 amp and 30 amp whoop boards coming out. So I'm gonna do some stuff, tweak it. I'm probably just gonna leave this one the same because it's perfect on with the 16x16 and the ultralight.
Nice.
And I might stretch one out a little bit for a bigger 3-inch, 4-inch for the guys that really want to go nuts.
Are you gonna run a dead cat design at any point?
I had thought about it, possibly for something, but I'm not a huge fan of the dead cat myself.
Yeah.
The Mutiny, the Nemesis Micro, I get just a little bit of prop in footage, but I'm using a 1.8 millimeter lens that's got 170 something field of view. So.
Yeah, even on the racer, I get very minimal prop. It's that's just right in the corners. That's
right at the bottom of the screen for me with the tilt that I was running on it the other day. The Mutiny, I believe up to 6-inch, we don't see props in the camera.
Yeah.
If you're over, I think 10 degrees. I
don't think I saw them in Verb's videos that he's shown me.
Yeah, that's one of the things I like to design for freestyle quads. The Nemesis was the first one that didn't have any props in view, and I really kind of had to stretch out. I had to make a false GoPro and kind of stretch out the field of view to kind of make sure that it wasn't in the way. So I wanted my arms to be a little bit longer for the 6-inch, but I had to make sure that the angles were. Yeah, it's that's one of my things, especially for the freestyle. I really like to try to keep the footage clean. For racers, it doesn't matter. If you're running a high enough tilt, you're not going to see props anyway.
Oh yeah.
Most racers expect to see props in their footage at least a little bit, especially in a stretch X. It's almost impossible to avoid. So
yeah. And I've got a couple even little 2 inches that are the racer stretch deck style, and oh my god, like it's like halfway up the screen you're seeing props. They're so small.
Props for days.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this. This was an awesome first episode. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited. I don't get a lot of frame boost or anything like that, so it's.
I'm sure we'll all end up on it again soon.
Hey, man, like I said, I'm available whenever if you need to fill in or
Sweet.
Whatever. I'm happy to talk drones. I dig it.
Yeah, me too. And that's like, we're all quarantined up. We're all stuck at home. Like, why not shoot the shit about drones, man?
Hey, I got no problem with that. And, I like talking stuff about, hey, people want different designs, stuff like that,
And it's ever evolving. We've got so many independent people in this industry that get minimal to no recognition that are such good designers of stuff like this. Whether it be on the coding or the electric side or on the frame side, it's just wicked to see the FPV community come out and innovate like that.
When you pulled up the Gank Multirotor Innovations page, one of the quads that you missed that I was kind of hoping you would comment on was the that plus brushed whoop that I had on there.
Yeah, I saw that actually. Hold on, I'm going searching again because I
made it and flew it a couple of times, and then because it was 3D printed, I crashed it and broke it, and I just never reprinted it again.
Yeah, there it is. I found. Okay, yeah, that one. I saw that. Hold on, I've got to pull that up again. That one.
Yeah, dude, that thing was. I really like that thing. The motor slides in from the bottom and stuff.
Yeah, that was a good design. I've seen a few of those out.
Yeah, it really needs to be printed on a nylon, but that was a fun little quad to put together, and everybody was just like, "What?"
You should try the PCTPE and see if it'll print nice with that.
Yeah, so I've got a buddy that's got Nylon X.
Oh, nice. The CF stuff?
Yeah, with the carbon fiber in it. So I was thinking maybe try that, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I haven't done whoops in a while, so I'm not even. I might have enough to build one whoop or something laying around.
Yeah, but you're talking to the head of Micro Quad Squad, so I kind of need that.
Hey man, I know you got a printer. I'll send you the files if you want to try.
I got a bunch of giveaways coming up for the Hexawhoop. I got a 2-inch frame. I got a bunch of other micro stuff giveaways.
There's.
Up,
Hey, let me see if I can find it. I could probably send you the files for this. I'm kind of part of a. I'm part of a conglomerate of design minds. We're Bard FPV. It's some of the guys from Rotorex, some long range guys, and me from Little Deuce. Kind of like a mixture of all things that could fill, like FPV. Like we've got some micro expertise, some long range expertise in there. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. I don't think I can without wasting time. Let me see. No, it's out of there. It's gone. But I designed a free kind of like dead cat. I designed like a free dead cat whoop setup for the Mobula 7, so you can take your Mobula 7 and turn it into just like a little dead cat machine looking thing. It was actually really funny. It looked terrifying because you don't really see any props and you just fall in a direction. So you just kind of you're like, oh God, I hope I'm flying. Like it looks like somebody it looks like your drone was on the table and somebody was like, boop, and just flipped you right off. Like that's what it looks like flying it at all times. Like you just kind of, just because you're just looking forward and you're like, is there a place that's forward?
Dan, I told you that I sometimes do impulsive buying, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, sometimes, but only sometimes. I'm really kind of in control totally. But
I'm depressed. Add to cart.
So I was looking, and GoPro has their 5.7K 4K 360 camera for like $200. If you don't get the Max that has the screen on it, it's $200, and it's waterproof, right? So I'm really debating one and building an invisible quad to carry that thing around. It's a little bulky, so it'd have to be like a 5-inch invisible quad.
Yeah,
I think I could do it.
Just acrylic.
Well, it's something that so when Josh Ingram from Flino and I were talking a lot and chatting a lot, that was one of the things that he asked me, do you think we could do that? And I was just like, yeah, for sure. Freaking send me the camera. I'll freaking, fiddle with it. Long story short, he ended up not sending me the camera, but, and then was it like 2 years later, I see Nurk flying one.
Yeah.
The invisible, I think it was Nurk built that invisible quad. So
nice.
But yeah, I think that's a cool idea, so. Sweet,
man.
Where did it
awesome,
go?
Guys. Well, thank you so much, and this was really fun. I had a blast.
All right, man.
I think a lot of our viewers did too.
Thank you.
Nice. Dalton's Little Deuce and Matt GankMan at Gank Multirotors, and he's got a bunch of new goodies available for everybody.
Don't forget, guys, shoot me a message if you want a Mutiny or a Racer right now. I've still got a few of those left before my order. And hey, hit me up. Let me know if you want those masks. Like I said, if I get 20 people that are willing to pay, $11 plus posting, I'm not going to make any money on them, but hey, I'll do it.
You might have opened the floodgates.
The gates.
Right?
I was also going to say, in light of the fact that you're, bringing up more people that are up and coming and things like that. One of the things that I was debating on whether touching on, but I put it here soon. I'm going to be trying to do something where I kind of reverse document how I made the Deuce. So I want to kind of make a YouTube series about how to use Fusion 360 and how to kind of basically start out from the idea of, what kind of drone do you want to make and where do you want to start? And then even just the basics of, how do you get how do you get things from your mind onto Fusion, and then how do you work from there? Like if you're going like for a micro or a 5-inch or things like that. Because honestly, I think there's so many people out there who feel like, obviously me and Matt work really, really hard, and we have our own traits and we have our own things. But there's a lot of times where, like, even Matt, when he was starting, he was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can. I was like, dude, you can absolutely do this. Like, if you have imagination, if you have the heart to do it, you have cool ideas and you have like innovation that you're trying to push. So don't think that you can't do it just because people try to tell you have to be an engineer. Like, sure, it helps to be like a massive like aerospace engineer or something like that. But, if you're not an aerospace engineer, you can absolutely still do this. You can absolutely have fun. You can absolutely just, shoot the shit, just, throw something out there. And if a million people love it, great. And if it's just for you personally, great. But I think that there's like a gap right now where people think that like there's like this elitism to being a frame designer or something. And it's like, it's really not. It's just a cool idea. And whoever gets theirs off the ground,
I'm a perfect example of that, man. Because like I said, I taught myself Fusion, and within 6 months, I had my own full frame design.
Yeah.
Right. And now I just like the stuff that I can do with Fusion. I'm practicing more and more stuff. So it's really kind of cool. And I think there's a lot of people. I think Dalton's right, man. A lot of people. I mean, I thought I saw probably 2 or 3 people in there. I think Scooter Pie commented he wanted to make his own frame. Brock's commented to make his own.
So, and I hope I can do justice to bridge that gap. But I'll make sure to keep you updated and let you know, because it's a big project that I've kind of been planning on. And with COVID and everything going on right now, I think there's also shout out to CNC Madness, who cuts all my personal frames. That guy, if anything, I would love to make a video about making more drones so more people get frames cut, so that guy keeps afloat. Because
man, I'll share that like Frank's Red Hot, man. Put that shit on everything.
CNC Madness is pretty much how I had a business, and so that guy is nicest Canadian I've ever met. Gets you cuts like you could literally think of something, put it in CAD, and then like 12 hours later, he's like, "It's cut, it's in the mail," and you're like, "Amazing!" That dude's awesome. So.
He's really great. I got my stuff cut there too, and like I said, once I get the quote back, it's as soon as he gets that PayPal, I'm sure he's laying that carbon on the machine.
He's amazing.
For 24 hours, I've got a UPS shipping notice, and the stuff's on the way. So
nice.
So I think now though is also the time though to kind of offer that hand out, and kind of offer a hand for people designing, and then also offer a hand to other people who are cutting frames right now, who may or may not be cutting frames at a massive rate anymore.
Yeah, and this is actually going to be shared a lot on FPV Builders as well, and they've got a lot of 3D design sort of folks that are also looking to do that. So this is a great platform for that sort of thing, man.
Yeah,
perfect.
Definitely join the FPV Builders group. It's the one group out there that they really don't take harassment. When people post up questions, I mean, everybody is so helpful. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Travis is really cool about it. Travis?
No, Taylor.
Taylor, sorry.
Taylor.
Farrell.
Yeah.
He did a really good job of setting it up, and they do a good job of moderating to make sure that, somebody posts up some soldering pictures of some bad solders, they're not going to get burned alive and like freaking run away crying.
Yeah.
Somebody
like the Rotor Riot.
Everybody I am probably the one person that can honestly say that I did not have a soldering curve, but I mean, I've been soldering since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I went to micro miniature solder school in the Navy, so I'm probably a little bit ahead of the curve for most people. But everybody has trouble. I mean, I with my experience in soldering, I still screw shit up. I still bridge every now and again, Or you miss that one little wire that's sticking out of the bundle that's never touching the next pad.
That moment is heartbreaking.
Yeah, everybody has those moments. I mean, I still had quite a few too, because for the longest time I was trying to deal with a Radio Shack. Yeah, I was trying to deal with a Radio Shack like high-low.
Is that a drone part?
Yeah, that was a roasted 16 by 16.
No, I know. It was funny because from the perspective of the stream, I'm like, what is that? What you got up there, bro?
That eye burst, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely was an eye burst. It's 5-volt wasn't the only problem.
How you doing, buddy? Scott,
Awesome.
my twin just joined.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Scott Hardesty. I met him up at I.O. and everybody freaking kept calling me him and him me. His call hashtag or his pilot name is Eisenberg FPV.
Nice.
So I'd be sitting there racing, and I was like, "Man, Eisenberg, what the hell's going on?" I'm just like, I think he's talking to the person next to me because I got the goggles on and stuff. Man, the whole time we were there, everybody kept calling me him and him me, and it was just so we had to take I've got a picture somewhere on my webpage from 2 years ago at I.O. of him and I standing next to each other. Actually, I think I got one from last year as well. So we'll get another one this year, but he's got the same goatee, the same pretty much hairstyle, the same kind of stocky build. So
I was telling TJ Williams that you, me, TJ, Jeremy Purvis, and Nurk all need to get together and do a full episode of just talking about beard care and beard health. Like, I think that would be spectacular.
This is all natural, baby.
Yeah. Well, I use coconut.
Man, and I just shaved like a month
I think
ago.
it was a tad bit outside of the hipster generation where they're putting product on their beards, but yeah, I just wash mine and comb it out every now and again. So I think I do end up doing a lot of stroking like this.
Yeah, we all do the pondering pull.
I was working a network job when COVID started. I did 3.5 months at home, and
yeah, me too.
Whenever I did that, I developed a gnarly beard. And when we first came back into the office, my boss was like, "You have to shave that," and I was like, "What? This?" And I had just like this massive atrocity. I look like a homeless person, and where my boss at the time, he wanted to uphold like a super professional look or whatever for when clients walked through, and they're like, "You have to go shave. Just go home, shave, and come back." And I was like, "For real? I'll do it."
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
This has been fun.
This has been a blast.
This is a blast, man. Much appreciated. Thank you for everybody that joined, man.
Thanks for all the comments too. I think we got over 300 comments.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining, and I'm just gonna wrap it up with a quick like and subscribe, and check out Gank Multirotors, and check out Dalton and the little Deuce, and check out, make sure you like and subscribe Drone On and On, as well as Micro Quad Squad.
Yeah, and thanks to TJ Williams for posting the links.
TJ at Buddy RC.
Much appreciated.
Give him some love because he's been looking for some subscribers too for Buddy. So
appreciated, TJ. Much appreciated.
And TJ is hopefully going to be on here soon.
Go TJ.
Yeah, TJ. All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, guys, take it easy. Have a good